Number 1, cost. So the Mavic Mini Fly More Combo Kit goes for around $400 on Amazon, while the base kit only goes for around $350. Now the biggest difference between the two is the Fly More Combo Kit does have a couple extra batteries included, while the base kit does not. Now I'm going to get more into that in just a second here, but for all you beginners out there, yes, I'm talking to you there, sitting behind the screen. If this is your first drone and you're worried about forking out a bunch of money because it's your first drone, and you're worried about, oh my god, well what if I crash it and then I'm out $400? Let me put it this way, would you rather pay $2,000 for a Mavic 3 drone and risk crashing it, or would you rather pay $400? Now obviously you don't want to crash your drone, right? You want to avoid that at all costs, but ask yourself this question, which is going to be easier to recover from, a $400 loss or a $2,000 loss? Especially in today's economy. All in all, I would recommend starting off with the Mavic Mini, and then if you decide later on down the road that you do want to pursue drones for whatever your purpose is, you can always upgrade from there. For now, I would stick with the Mavic Mini, and if you do want to purchase this, the link will be down in the description below. And number 2, the Fly More Combo Kit. Now the Fly More Combo Kit is going to give you the most bang for your buck, and when people ask me if they should get it, my answer is always simple, yes, and here's why. The biggest incentive is you're going to get 3 batteries, and each little battery is going to give you about 30 minutes of flight time. And when you do use up one battery for your drone, no problem. You can simply just swap it out for another battery in the charging dock, put that one in your drone, and then recharge the old one. That way you can stay in the air as much as possible. And remember, the base kit only comes with 1 battery, so once you expire that one, you're going to have to wait about 45 minutes for that one to fully charge. It sucks. And now I'm going to show you guys what's all included with the Fly More Combo Kit. You get 3 batteries, 1 charging dock, 2 sets of propellers for your drone. 1 pair is already going to come pre-installed and the other is going to come in a tiny little carrying case. 2 micro USB charging cords. This fancy schmancy carrying case. The drone, obviously. 1 little gimbal guard to protect your camera at all times. The remote. 2 sets of joysticks for your remote. 3 RC cables to connect your phone or your tablet to the remote. And just so you guys know, the part that actually plugs into the remote is micro USB, and then the opposite ends of the RC cables are compatible for iOS, micro USB, and USB-C. Long story short, it's pretty much compatible with any device. And last but not least, the propeller guards. And all that fun stuff fits right here inside the carrying case. Minus the propeller guards. Now the base kit on the other hand, that's pretty much only going to come with 1 battery, the drone, which should be obvious by now, the remote, 2 sets of propellers and joysticks, the gimbal guard, and 1 of each RC cable for iOS, micro USB, and USB-C. And both kits do come with a tiny little screwdriver and a few extra screws for your propellers as well. And like I said, it's really only about a $50 difference between the standard kit and the Fly More Combo Kit, so get the Fly More Combo Kit. I promise you, you won't regret it. And if you do regret it, well then you can insult me in the comments section down below. Number 3, photo and video quality. Now to start things off here, the camera on the Mavic Mini is going to take some pretty stunning 12 megapixel photos in JPEG format. Now it's definitely not as advanced as some of the drones that are on the market right now, but I gotta tell you, it still does a pretty damn good job for 12 megapixels. And of course, you can always edit them directly in your phone, Photoshop, or Lightroom if you have it, just to kind of doll them up a little bit more and make them pop. Now here's an unedited photo that I took a while back, and here is the edited version. Truth be told, as long as there's enough sunlight out, you're going to take some pretty good photos without even having to edit them. And you also have the option to shoot in 16:9 or 4:3, depending on what your purpose of the photo is. Also, another thing to keep in mind, this camera does not shoot in RAW, just letting you know. Now when it comes to video resolution, this camera right here is going to shoot minimum at 1080p at 24 frames per second, and it's going to cap out at 2.7K at 30 frames per second. And here is everything in between that it shoots at. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Now I used this drone for about a year and a half before I bought my Mavic Air 2, and I gotta say, it still amazes me at the cinematic quality that this drone possesses. And that's even before running it through any sort of video editing program. And all the clips that you're seeing right now were all shot on my Mavic Mini at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So if you do have any ounce of doubt about the video quality this thing possesses, well, I hope the video speaks for itself. For as tiny as this thing is and the cost, it definitely packs a punch. And you can also alternate between manual and automatic mode just in case you want to adjust the settings such as your iOS, your shutter speed, or your white balance. And hey, if you're a camera guru like me, it's also worth mentioning that you can take long exposure photos on your Mavic Mini just like this. Link for that video will also be in the description and in the upper right hand corner. Number 4, durability. Now for all you beginners out there worried about crashing your drone, I got some good news for you. This drone can definitely take a little bit of a beating, but don't get me wrong though, this drone does not have collision sensors and it's not invincible. But what I mean by that is, this drone was designed to be super light, and because of that, it handles crashes very well. And trust me, I've crashed my drone more times than the stock market. And just to be super clear, if you do crash this thing into a brick wall, chances are it's not going to survive, depending on how fast you're going and the angle at which it was impacted. Now, the majority of the time I've crashed my drone, it was either because I was flying too close to some branches, which ended up pulling it into the tree, or I was flying way too low and I ended up clipping some grass or some weeds, and then it kind of made my drone do the cartwheel effect for a few feet before it ended up stopping. Now, my Mavic Mini definitely has some bumps, scuffs, bruises, and I've had to replace the propellers multiple times, but at the end of the day, it still flies just fine. Also, for all you drone beginners out there, or anyone that might be buying this drone for the first time, another heavily searched question that popped up on Google about the Mavic Mini was, is this drone waterproof? And no, it's not. Always avoid water on your drone at all times. My drone has been pretty lucky because it's survived a few lawn sprinklers and some light rain. Thank God. Always be cautious, check the weather, and always watch where you're flying. Number 5, the DJI Fly App and Remote. So of course, to fly your drone, you're going to have to download the DJI Fly App, which should only take about 10 seconds to download depending on how shitty your Wi-Fi is. It is 100% free to download too, so no cost involved. Now once it's downloaded, you just simply hook up your tablet or your phone, just like I did right here, calibrate your drone, and then you're pretty much ready to fly. Now most smartphones are going to fit pretty comfortably within the grips of the remote, but if you are using something a little bit larger, like a tablet, you are going to have to pick up a tablet mount holder for your remote. And lucky for you, I linked those down in the description below. And real quick, if you guys do have any questions about the DJI Mavic Mini or anything else drone related, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section down below. I'm pretty good about replying to all comments, unless of course it's an insult about Transformers, then I might be a little bitter. Just kidding. Or am I? By the way, if you guys are getting value out of this video, be sure to go Will Smith on that like button, and why not subscribe? Your support allows me to make more videos and also helps me recover from my gambling addiction. Moving on to number 6, Quickshot. And what this is it's basically a series of 4 preset flight modes on your drone that makes it so that way all you have to do is point, select, shoot, and it basically does all the work for you. Let me give you an example. So this street light right here, I'm going to orbit around it. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. 1, you can do it manually with the remote, or 2, you can have the drone do it all by itself through the circle mode in Quickshot. Now real quick, if you can do this all on your own using the remote and the joysticks to get that shot, perfect, good for you. But if you can't, the beauty of Quickshot is that it uses GPS satellites to make sure it's as perfect as it can be without you having to manually adjust the joysticks for rotation. Some other Quickshot modes this has is Droney. What Droney is it's actually focused on you or whatever your subject is, and it actually backs up and ascends at the same time, giving you that nice cinematic look. Rocket is another Quickshot selection that allows your drone to ascend while still focusing on the selected subject. This is one of my favorites, and if you do it just right, you can get some pretty phenomenal shots. And at last but not least, Helix. What this is going to do is allow your drone to ascend in a spiral motion while still focusing on the selected subject. Now, if you are a beginner, Quickshot is going to be your best friend because it's going to ensure that you're getting that nice, consistent, smooth shot without the jerkiness of the camera/drone. And most importantly, do not forget this when you're doing these types of shots. Make sure that you're flying in a relatively somewhat open area with no obstacles around, because you gotta remember, this thing does not have collision sensors, so don't f*** up. And number 7, you do not have to register this drone with the FAA. According to FAA.gov, link will also be in the description below in case you think I'm full of shit, if your drone weighs less than 250 grams/0.55 pounds, you do not have to register it. And that is specifically if you're only using it for recreational purposes. On that same note though, any drone used for the furtherance of a business must be registered regardless of how much it weighs. Quick recap, if you are buying this drone just to fly it for fun, well then no registration is required. However, if you are buying this drone with plans to use it for commercial purposes, then you must register it. Number 8, this is a travel-friendly drone. So whether you buy the Fly More combo kit or the base kit, you can pretty much take this drone with you anywhere in its little carrying case without it taking up too much space. This is a huge win, especially if you fly on airplanes a lot, because this is so small and compact that you can tuck it safely in your carry-on without it being a huge inconvenience. I've brought my Mavic Mini with me when I've gone hiking, kayaking, mountain biking, and even longboarding. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space, and it doesn't weigh a whole lot. Also, real quick, I have to call this out. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where people are like, oh my god, the Mavic Mini is so small, you can fit it in your pocket. Don't do that. It's stupid. Sure, it probably will fit in your pocket, but what's going to happen is you're going to end up warping the propellers on your drone, and it's not going to fly right, so don't do it. Number 9, the fly modes. So the Mavic Mini has 3 fly modes: Cinesmooth, Position Mode, and Sport Mode. Here's a better way to think about it: slow, moderate, and fast. So Cinesmooth mode is going to allow your drone to fly very, very slow, allowing you to get those nice cinematic shots. Position mode now, which is the default mode, and it's actually the mode that I fly in the most, it flies your drone not too fast, not too slow, but basically flies it at a nice comfortable pace. Now sport mode on the other hand is going to fly your drone really friggin' fast. I'm not kidding, this thing zips around like a mother when you're flying in sport mode. Now I usually don't fly in sport mode too often, but when I do, it's usually just to fly from one location to the next in the interest of trying to conserve time. Number 10, the SD card slot and micro USB input on the back of the drone. So on the back of the drone here, we do have an SD card slot and a micro USB input. This is super intuitive, and I'm so glad they did this because it gives you options. You can either take the SD card directly out of your drone and then pop it into your computer to look at your files, or you can plug your drone directly into your computer and view them that way. Super helpful, especially if your computer does not have an SD card slot. Now let me share a little secret with you. Because your drone actually has a micro USB input on the back, that means you can actually charge a battery while it's in the drone. That way you can still charge your drone batteries in the charging dock while you're having a battery charge in the drone at the same time. Again, very intuitive, and this is going to allow you to charge 2 batteries at once. Most importantly, if you are a beginner, I would recommend this drone all day long. It's affordable, it's durable, and you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck. No pun intended.